When they're interacting socially with their peers and doing activities, this social interaction really creates a catapults their language learning. So as well as personal growth, encouraging English language development for confidence, resilience, and adaptability, excuse me, skilled, I need some help with my English, skill development, academics can have a direct effect when they have a higher language proficiency, where they would learn in a social situation to come back and apply those skills in academics. And also just a time for them to have some opportunities that they really probably would not. So I've listed this again in my, it would be no cost to the district at all. So it's been listed in the Section 41 grant and approved by the state, and I was hoping that you would also be in favor of that spending.
Can you tell us what Section 41 is?
Sure can. Section 41 grant is set up by the state of Michigan to specifically for English language learners that are a 1.0 to a 3.9. And this funding increased significantly last year by 40%. And when I talk about those numbers, that's from the WIDA. That's our standardized language test that we give each year to show proficiency, 1 being the lowest and 6 being the highest. So this specific group of 1.0 to 3.9 are really the students that we like to focus on that need all of these types of scaffolds and assistance that the funding is in place for. And it's also a nice partnership with the Outdoor Education Center to provide some resources for them as far as the funding, just so we can kind of give them a boost as well.
Any questions? Yes, Trustee Fulbright.
Sorry, I was just leaning into my microphone. That's not good.
Habit.
So, I see. You said 60 campers. Where did that number come from? What if we have more or less than?
Well, we have about. I kind of based it on the numbers. I've got about 100 EL kids in the district, but it's only really opened up to 1st to 8th grade. Okay. Because of the age group, couldn't have that wide of a variety. And also, I talked to Dean Transportation and wanted to know kind of what the capacity was of a bus. So I thought that would be kind of a happy medium to be able to offer the opportunity to those K-8 students, 1st to 8th students, and have enough seats for everyone that would want to go.
Any other questions? Yes, Trustee.
Thank you, President Poole-Gray. Do you have dates picked out for the summer camp?
Yes, actually it would be the week right after Bearcat Blast. So it would be the 29th of July until August 3rd. Okay. Just 8 a.m. till 4 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Yes, Trustee.
Not a question, just a comment. It was, I was sitting here looking at that, listening to you. I'm glad to see students out there in the summer. It just took me back when we were in school. We spent time out in the summertime at Clear Lake Camp, so yes. I'm glad to see that.
Thank you.
They should enjoy that.
Thank you. I hope so. It's approved. I'm hoping for a really good turnout and just to provide some really amazing opportunities for them to not only speak English but just have a good time.
Yes. Any other questions, comments? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll now hear about International Alliance Group, International Teacher Partnership, Dr. Michael Henry. Oh.
Agenda item. Okay, there we are. The International Alliance Group is an agency that assists school districts across the nation to find and hire certified teachers with teaching experience in critical shortage areas. With board approval, this is an opportunity for the BCPS. I worked in another district that's called BCPS. Y'all would not appreciate me saying Baltimore County. That opportunity to enhance our recruitment efforts in Battle Creek Public Schools. We further submit this evening to the board that this is a possible partnership between BCPS and IAG. It directly aligns and supports the third goal of greatness, which is the human capital strategy goal. Tonight, we are pleased to see some of my friends and representatives from AIG joining us from Arizona, correct, Jason? Correct? All right, virtually to present and provide additional context relative to this possible partnership. Mr. Jason Hammond serves as the president of the International Alliance Group headquartered in Phoenix, Arizona, and we have Dr. Jennifer Spring, and I think she's vice president of everything else at IAG, I think. And so Mr. Hammond and Ms. Jennifer Spring will be making a presentation, and then we can move into the question and answer portion of this particular presentation. So I pass the baton on to you, Jason.
Yes.
we're going to let the board ask questions, but I'd like to have the first question. Jason, can you talk a little bit about the districts that you all provide support and have partnerships in Michigan and also across the United States? And then the board's going to come at you. Jason, when did you get Jacksonville? You know who told, you know who told them about you, right? Just saying.
Dr. Henry, if I may, one of the technical difficulties that we're having is that while we can hear the presentation and hear, you can hear us, but you can't hear who's on the monitor right now. So as a result of that, I'd like to just read a couple of questions that, so on behalf of Trustee Perry, who couldn't be with us this evening, she had some questions. First, she wanted us to know that this is a good idea and that she's used J-1 visas at the past, in the past at work. But her question was around the expected tenure for teachers that we recruit and whether or not there was a requirement for them to return to their home country. What we found out, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that 5 years is the goal, 3 minimum if everything is working okay. And usually in the spirit of cooperation with the sending country, they do go home after that. Is that correct, Jason? Okay. She also asked if the district healthcare meets the Department of State requirements, or will we be using the vendor's healthcare? And the answer is no, ours does not, which is why we will be, IAG offers compliant insurance that is robust and actually ends up being a cost savings to the district.
Dr. Johnson?
Yeah, so I had two questions. Well, one, what I love about this is the opportunity to diversify our teaching staff, especially special education and some of those specialties. So I'm interested in the acculturation piece of it, and I'm curious, what, in your experience, what do you need from school districts to help teachers be successful in terms of acculturation? And the other part was kind of what Nikki asked of regarding transition and sustainability. So I'm thinking like 3 years, every 3 years there's a turnover, especially if they meet a particular need like special education, and then we'll have to figure out how we're going to recruit. Or do you, continuously place folks to help us with that sustainability?
Any other questions? Yes, trustee.
I'm Catherine LaValle, one of the school board trustees, and I had a question about special ed requirements. When a teacher from a foreign land is trained in special education, what does that look like? Is it comparable to what the United States expects for special education requirements?
Any other questions? Yes.
President. Hi, Nathan here. I have some questions about, I'm curious where the teachers are coming from generally. You know, because as you talk a lot about matching the demographics of our kids better, I'm curious if there's like, is there like a top 5 countries you can name, or is there like some data on like, you know, top 100 that we can look at and review? I'm curious kind of just where they're coming from. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Trustee McClenny?
Sure, I have a question. I understand that your teachers have to be, they run an extensive, I guess, criminal history through their own country, and through Interpol, and through the United States. I'm just curious if a teacher in the organization was to have some misfortune to get involved with the law here, what does that look like? Who absorbs the cost? Who represents? Thank you.
Trustee Fulbright?
Good evening. So first, I just wanted to say I'm super excited about this program. I have great hopes for this. So thank you for presenting to us. My question is, it's kind of piggyback off of Trustee McClenny. What if we get a teacher and they're not a fit for us? They didn't commit any crimes, or there was not any criminal activity, but they just don't work in our district, or we can't make it work within the 5 years. How does that process work where, I mean, we let them go, or do they go to a different district, or I don't necessarily need to go back home because they didn't do anything criminally, but if they just they're not a fit for us, what is that process like? Thank you.
I have a question, and it's life. What happens if they get here and they find a mate? Do they have to go back or do they stay? Or how does that work?
Imagining teacher balls.
Right.
But I'm excited about the other districts that you're actually serving here in Michigan in their urban setting. And that was my concern. How would they adapt to the culture of these buildings as well as our district? So I'm excited. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Thank you so much, Dr. Smith.
Henry?
Dr. Henry.
Who is that?
I apologize.
No problem, no problem. So, thank you all for your robust question. We knew you all would come and to get a crystal clear understanding of this particular opportunity. So, we just hope that you all will review this and consider this and embrace this perfect opportunity for us to grow. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes,
Dr. Henry, could you tell us a little bit more about Battle Creek Public Schools' plan to have this pilot program?
Okay, thank you so much for that. So the pilot, we are looking at possibly 2 or 3 schools, especially kind of focusing maybe Fremont because it's an international academy already, and probably looking at Battle Creek Central High School as the first 2 schools that we really want to look at and focus on teachers in those particular buildings. So based on whether or not you all approve this, if you approve this tonight, then we'll be having some robust conversation with those building principals in the morning.
okay. So we'll be pretty much up and ready to go next school year?
Yes. Jason, can you talk a little bit, if the board approves tonight, because this is now April, can we talk about the turnaround relative to being prepared for mid-August?
planned that. Yeah.
So I think most of us are like in support of this, especially given the teacher shortage, and it just aligns. And so I don't know if you have had some personal experience or professional experience with this organization before, and I'm one that likes to also hear what could go wrong, so that we could be prepared, right? Like to mitigate that. So I'm curious about your experiences, and what's worked really well, and maybe something we might want to just prepare for ahead, the potential challenges.
So this is my third district. He didn't call out Allentown, Pennsylvania, and Little Rock, Arkansas, because of course we started partnerships there also. And some of the things that have been powerful, especially when teachers come like a cohort, like if you get 2 or 3 of them to come together and serve as a cohort, that has been a real power, because they can support each other and not just here alone.
Right.
And as Trustee LaValle talked about, what is our plan? We wanted to kind of start small. That's why we wanted to start with just maybe 2 or 3 schools to start small. So if we got a cohort at one school and a cohort of 2 or 3 at another school, they would be able to support each other and the like. And so that has really worked well in the other districts.
What about any potential challenges or things that we should be, in your experience, that we want to be prepared for, or think about how we mitigate?
Just having those singletons, folks that's just coming alone, that has been somewhat of a challenge. That's why we kind of moved toward that little cohort model. And the discipline, we haven't had discipline in the 3 districts where this has started. We haven't had discipline within it, so we haven't crossed that, because they come highly prepared, and they're not just first-year novice teachers.
Right.
This will be their 3rd year teaching, because they've taught 2 years already, all the pool. And I think we have 1,000. Is the pool 1,000? Still 1,000, sir? Okay, very good. And when I first started 2 years ago with this, I think the pool was like 600 or 700. So now it's grown to 1,000. So the other districts, they've really, really liked the program and the like, and so.
Yeah. 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 Community, right?
Right.
It's a community. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
That makes sense.
It's our goal that they'll come into their extended family in Battle Creek.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Miller, you need us for something?
I'm just switching it for you.
Okay. We'll now move on to Northwestern Middle School, construction pause, Dr. Carter.
Make sure you turn it on, and down will progress you through it.
On. Down.
Okay.
See if it's working. There it is. All right. Thank you. And I just realized that I meant to update the date that was on the slide deck. But I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to start by just reminding us of how much we've accomplished over the last couple of years. Great things are happening in Battle Creek Public Schools. And over the last 2 years, Northwestern Middle School has undergone a number of improvements. And we are so excited about moving into that final construction phase to complete its transformation as planned. However, what I'd like to do is I'm proposing this evening what I'm calling a strategic pause. We know that Northwestern has faced ongoing challenges, and trying to address these challenges in the middle of top to bottom construction has been a little bit difficult. We need the time and space to actually reset and pause and set the school up for success. And so as we move into the final phase, we're proposing a transition plan that will allow for the time and space needed to redesign the educational experience and create the school environment that our students deserve. They deserve a high-quality educational experience, and we want to take the time to plan that in a more effective manner. We also want to allow for the sizable construction work to occur over the next year and proceed without interruption, while also providing added assurance that we will launch at 100% completion in the fall of 2025. It has been unfair to ask students to continue to move around the building. We did have great expectations around how we could do the construction. Our construction manager and all of the team, they've done an amazing job. And it is still a little difficult to continue to move children throughout the building during this phase. Again, I want to put forward that we all know that we've had significant challenges, and we need an opportunity to pause, reset, and refocus so that we can set Northwestern up for success. So what does that mean? For 1 year, we are asking to reassign middle school students. Middle school students who are not attending BC STEM will be assigned to either Springfield Middle School or a temporary new 6th grade academy. We are making these assignments based on school and not address. And so it's the feeder school for now because we want to be able to control the numbers. We don't want to over-enroll Springfield or over-enroll Anjay. And based on the way students are situated, given that Fremont already was matriculating into Springfield for the IB, we'd like to continue that for the year, as well as Valley View being right across the street. We know that those students are in that area, and so we'll continue them moving across the street. So again, rising 7th and 8th grade students will join Springfield Middle. What was the technical?
PDF. Never mind.
Oh yeah, I know.
I'm sorry, how do we go back to full screen?
Just the double arrows in the top right-hand corner.
I know what you were trying to do. Thank you, though. So our rising 7th and 8th grade Northwestern students will join Springfield Middle School. Our rising 6th grade students at Valley View and Fremont will go to Springfield. And our rising 6th grade students at Verona and Anjay Kellogg will be hosted in a temporary new 6th grade academy that we are locating in its own wing at Anjay Kellogg. The exception to this is that students currently enrolled and accepted to attend BC STEM next year will continue there. What about staffing? So every effort will be made to reassign current Northwestern staff as we work to ensure sufficient coverage and support for Springfield Middle School and the 6th grade academy. So what that looks like to date is that Springfield Middle School will receive an additional dean to support that school, and we will also make sure that there is an assistant principal at Anjay Kellogg to oversee that 6th grade academy, making sure that the schools have the supports they need to be successful. Additionally, many people would have a question about anticipated enrollment. So Springfield Middle School's anticipated enrollment with this pause will be at 500. Anjay Kellogg 6th grade academy is slated to have approximately 150 students, taking the school enrollment to 400. Remembering that Springfield is designed for 600 students, Anjay Kellogg for 700. Questions?
Any questions, comments, or even complaints?
That's what we're here for.
It's concerned.
Trustee McClenny.
So I'm just going to say I'm glad to see, because I got a chance to talk to Superintendent Carter, and I had some questions about the additional students at Springfield and all the schools. And I was glad to hear that there is going to be an additional dean and an additional principal. I did ask you this question. I think I did in advance, and if I didn't, I apologize. But I had some concerns from people who contacted me at the last minute, and it was about the transportation with dean. And if you could address that, because in the past we've had some transportation issues because of the shortage of drivers. And I'd just like to know where we are with the transportation and what Dean had to say.
Yeah, so we have been in conversation with them. We actually anticipate that this may make it easier because we're going to take one location offline for a year, which would allow us to concentrate some transportation across just two locations, because Anjay is already on the transportation route, so that's BC STEM and Springfield Middle, and we're continuing to source bus drivers. But right now we are, and I think it should be noted that we still want to run the 6th grade academy on a middle school schedule, because we don't want them to feel like they would have a hard transition back. So Anjay Kellogg would have 2 start times as our current planning, and so we're trying to see if we can operationalize that.
All right. I want to give somebody else a chance. I just got a follow-up question.
Might be best to follow up.
Yeah.
Follow-up question.
Do a follow-up.
So if you have the 2 start times at ANJ in order to avoid disruption, would that academy have, I understand they're going to have a wing, would they have their entrance that they would enter?
That's what we're looking into now. We also want to make sure everybody's aware that Anjay Kellogg has some construction happening as well. The difference here, however, is that students don't have to move during that construction. There will be part of the school, a third of the school closed off for construction that will open up and allow people to move into it, but classrooms won't have to reschedule themselves around that. What we're looking at is, because a third is going to be closed off, we're trying to determine whether or not it's possible to have separate entrances. 6th graders on one side, but we're not at that point in terms of planning. We're still exploring that. So, but it's our intent. We just don't know if it's available yet.
Dr. Johnson?
Yeah, what are we hearing from, and I don't know how widely it's been discussed, but what are we hearing from parents, teachers? What's some of the feedback we're hearing from them?
So this has not been put out broadly. Our next step is, today it goes public. We're going to put out all kinds of communication around it. We have a key communicators meeting that we scheduled for tomorrow to hear from our community. And as well, teachers, I did meet with them on Friday. Of course, there's a lot of anxiety around change and what this means for their positions. But again, every effort's going to be made to just move people throughout the district, and we'll continue. I also created a question and answer document that's been shared out internally, so that those, after having these conversations, those questions that are raised up, we can begin to address them as we plan this out.
So I'm sorry.
Yes.
So with the teachers, so I said, basically the language is like, we will try to make sure all of our teachers have. So what will we do for the teachers if they do not get placed? So are we gonna have some sort of like, this essentially isn't their fault, right? So like, what's our plan to support those teachers who may be displaced?
I think we still have to come up with what that looks like. And those are the things we still have to work through to make sure that our intent is to make sure everybody lands in a place, but we just don't have the answers, because part of this is also around what positions are open, what are you certified and qualified for, and where are the opportunities in the district.
Trustee LaValle?
Oh, thank you, President Poolgrave. I would hope that this pause would invigorate the community. I know, attending a recent key communicators meeting, we have developed some awesome, loyal people to our district. And I want to make sure that loyalty keeps growing, because they were excited about Battle Creek Public Schools. They were looking long range about their young students finishing with us through K through 12 years. That's what we've been wanting to have for a long time, because in the past it's been bruised for whatever reason. I'm not going to blame COVID, that's a factor. But the loyalty is coming back to Battle Creek Schools. And it's one of those things I want that protected, because we have a great thing, meaning a school building that will have a grand opening in the fall of 2025. And that's the exciting part because it will be a building that's ready to go for our students, K through 8, who choose to be at that building. It's just where I'm okay knowing that Springfield Middle School can hold up to 600 students. I didn't know that a week ago. I think that's important. I have no problem with Ann J. Kellogg housing our 6th graders that want to attend 6th grade still. I guess my next question, are there any of those 6th graders on the list for BC STEM Academy?
Yes. And so we're looking at those numbers as well.
And I know we wanted to keep BC STEM Academy grade levels at 60 students. Are we nearing that enrollment?
So they
And
will
that would be a
probably be
first.
fully enrolled next year.
Is it still possible for BC STEM people wanting to still attend BC STEM? I know the registration now is over. It helps us plan for the fall. But I hope that we would be good, steady class numbers of 60 students as close as possible, and that would help out Springfield Middle.
So we have all of those slots filled at this point, if I'm not mistaken, but I will confirm where we are with that. But we anticipate all of the slots, 6th, 7th, and 8th being filled this year.
For BC STEM.
For BC
And
STEM.
that would be a highlight and a first, because that would be awesome.
Trustee Nathan.
I'm really excited about this. I think it's going to be a really important step to transformation for the school. I'm thinking about times in the past when we've rebranded buildings or schools or whatever, and it hasn't quite taken out the way we wanted it to. Whereas when we closed the building, usually for different reasons, but I'm thinking like Fremont, and then reopened it, it's been more successful. Or like WK Prep, it's closed, obviously again, different reasons. But then when it reopened, it was like, here, now it's Beacon. BC STEM, similarly. Whereas when we tried to just change a name or a culture, like it hasn't worked. So considering the major change that Northwestern's going under, going to K-8 and performing in visual arts and all this, I think this is going to be really helpful to make sure that cultural reset is there and that expectational reset is there. So I think it's while difficult, and I definitely feel for the stress that's going to cause, I think it's going to be really necessary. So I'm excited about this. Not to mention the construction, make sure that stays on track, really important. Because we can't go back on our word to the bond voters that we say we're going to open.
But I think we've been blessed with our construction and supplies to come into our workers to get the job done. We're still on schedule.
Yeah.
That's amazing in this day and age where there's lots of construction going on throughout the region, and those projects haven't been so successful, but we have been blessed with a crew that's really doing their best to keep us on a schedule.
Trustee Fulbright?
You called my name before I raised my hand. How did you
Hey, look. Body language.
Right. So I just a follow-up question on what Dr. Johnson brought up. So I just want, I guess, clarity. Teachers may not possibly have a job, or every single teacher and every single employee of Northwestern will get placed somewhere, or that's not the case and people might lose their job? Is that what I...
So I can't answer that today because
Okay.
in full transparency, I can't guarantee that every single position will be placed. That is not a guarantee in this. But what we do know is that we're going to make every effort, given the transitions, the turnovers, and all of that, to move them around in the district. So there may be some teachers who can't be placed because their certification is only this, and we don't need just that. Does that make sense? So there are individuals who might only be certified 6th grade ELA, and I only have space for one, but we have two.
So I guess my follow-up question to that is, because this is just a one-year pause, would they, like, I guess in 2025, when Northwestern reopens, would they be able to, if they didn't have a placement, would they be able to come, like, I guess the year break, that, I don't know, I'm not a teacher, but that worries me if I had to take a year off and work at some other place and then want to come back. I don't know, it's scary. That part is scary to me. But.
Yes, I think we have to, I would be remiss if I didn't say that this isn't a stressful transition for everyone. And I don't want to minimize the stress that it is placing on individuals who work at Northwestern from all different levels of the staff. And we know that, and we'll do everything in our power to make sure that they have what they need to land somewhere in the district. I just don't want to make promises that I don't want to overcommit and underdeliver. With that being said, teachers under contract would be under a layoff. It'd be a layoff position, which means you have a guaranteed right back once the positions reopen in certain areas of the district. I hope that helps.
That helped, yeah.
That helps.
That was a huge.
And like, I think the long-term strategy, I would like us to, and I'm sure you are, be thinking about when it reopens, if we're gonna need, in that example, 2 of those teachers in the future that we're gonna do our best to retain, especially if it's a specialty area, right? So that we think about the retention piece of it. But to build on like Nathan's comment, that was one of the things that I thought about. I really, I get excited about the thought of a fine arts academy, and I've been just curious, like how we're gonna change that sort of a culture, right? Like what's the training gonna look like? How are we gonna, all of that. So I'm hoping this also gives an opportunity for the teachers to, even if they don't have a placement, but they plan to stay, an opportunity to sort of train on the new model and get ready. So.
And I don't want to miss this, that those teachers who are being reassigned, so please hear the language as reassigned, because you don't automatically you will not be reassigned back to Northwestern. This will be a brand new school, and we will open up an application process to ensure that it is the best fit for the individuals to take the Arts Academy over the line. Okay?
And I would just also add too, evaluation performances are key in this process too, because that's what we honor by board policy, by union contract agreements. And it's one of those things where we have to have faith in our leadership to make sure those requirements are followed, because it's what's good for kids. And we want that high quality, as Dr. Carter started out with her presentation tonight, high quality facility is going to really impact our achievement levels for our kids. It's for the kids.
I'd just like to say, as long as we're on target, I'm up for the pause, because it's not like we're going to shut the place down. With the students in another building, I think they could still be on time and maybe even early. So I'm looking forward to that.
I would also reiterate too, I had that thought just in the last few moments, maybe with the construction workers all on their own in that building, that will fire their ability up to finish ahead of time. So that is something we can hope for.
Any other discussion, Trustee?
Yeah, I was trying to jump in there like 3, 4 times.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have my glasses
I
on.
mentioned that around the room thing. No, first of all, I wanted to say, Dr. Carter, thank you for making that clear, because that's why I was trying to jump in there with the reassignment. We don't want that out there that, well, I've been reassigned, Northwestern's open back up. Now I'm gonna move back over here. Because it is a new school, and it's a new school, a new beginning, and I'm going to say this. I do not want to experience, and I don't know if anybody else was here, Catherine, I don't want to experience what we experienced in the past with the state. So I think it's a good move. I commend you for making the move with redoing the school from a new beginning. So and then my other question was the construction, the timetable. Will that speed up our timetable possibly with the construction? And if you don't know, that's fine. And security, because the school now, there won't be people there constantly. And are we going to look at putting some additional people out there for
I
the
don't know,
building?
but we're gonna add that to the
Yeah.
things we need to have on our, I appreciate that, because that's what we're doing, is like, what are the things that we need to make sure we're thinking about as we plan this transition? I am really grateful that we're having the conversation now so that individuals can make plans, and it gives us the next few months to really make sure that we launch well and we create transition plans for all of our students, have meetings with parents, make sure that they get their questions answered, and even parents may raise up some things that we need to attend to. So we're going to be very strategic about how we have these conversations and how we make sure everybody gets the information they need. So tonight we will launch out with a public-facing announcement of this. It is also why I didn't ask the board to vote tonight. I believed that we need to present this to create community information. And then when we come back at our first board meeting in May, then we will take the vote and make sure that we have all of the things that we've needed to think about to make sure that we set the school up for success. That is what this is about.
Would it start in the fall?
In the fall,
Yeah.
yes.
Do you really need a board vote on this pause for Northwestern?
I think yes, because we want to make sure that we have the permission to stop education at a school that the board has had open for several years. We did the same with Fremont.
And then my, maybe a final question, with Dudley's plans, when would the early childhood buildings start for Dudley?
2025, so it gives us the space to have 2 grand openings.
We're excited about that too.
Any other questions, comments?
Just want to reiterate that this is a pause, not a
Right.
closure. So I want to make sure everyone knows, pause. 1 year.
6 weeks.
We've already had that conversation.
Anything else regarding Northwestern? Okay, moving right along. Do we have any public comment? Yes, Charlie, you get to use
I get to use my new toy.
your timer.
So I don't have to buy one.
Did it sing to you, Charles?
It is.
Oh my God.
They got a total.
Miss Alexander, come up, please. I'm not even going to try to mess up your name.
It's a lot easier than it looks.
Okay, let me read the public comment.
Thank you, Ms. Allen.
Battle Creek Public Schools Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the community to express themselves on district matters. We have 2 opportunities on our agenda tonight for public comment. The Board of Education requests you fill out a public participation form with contact information. As you come to the microphone, please state your name. Each statement made by a speaker should be limited to a 3-minute duration. If the speaker represents a group, the person will be given 5 minutes to speak. Battle Creek Public Schools Board of Education will listen, take comments and questions under advisement, and not respond at this time. Public commenters will direct all comments to the Board of Education and not to staff or other participants. Are you ready, Trustee Fulbright?
Yeah.
Okay, you may begin.
Hello, my name
Hello.
is Nakia Alexander, and I'm here just to advocate for my child who goes to a school. So I just prepared a little letter that I wrote up, and I'm just so thankful that you guys are having me here and are willing to listen. Okay? So I just would like to start by expressing my deep frustration for my daughter's first year of school. Unfortunately, she's become a victim of physical abuse by another student, which has been incredibly disheartening to the both of us. This incident has left my daughter shaken and anxious about returning to school. Immediately after the incident, I reported it to Principal Mr. Caldwell, who promised to conduct a thorough investigation. However, despite my repeated follow-ups, no tangible results or actions were taken against the other child, leaving me feeling helpless and frustrated. Feeling like my daughter's situation has been overlooked, I have reached out to Ms. Carter, who, in hopes of finding a resolution, while she was sympathetic and referred me to Gregory Fish, it still seems to be like my daughter's safety has not been taken serious. As a parent, I believe that it's my responsibility to keep my child safe, which includes ensuring her safety at school as well. I send my daughter to school with hopes that she can receive proper guidance and education in a safe environment. That's why I decided to contact Miriam White as well, who had offered to provide additional support to prevent the violence that was going on in school. Unfortunately, she never followed up, and my daughter's situation remains unsolved. So this is my final plea for help, because I refuse to give up on my daughter's safety, and I just need a peace of mind knowing that she's safe at school. So I did pull her out of school for a week as well, and after a conversation about maybe changing the school district, I was told that I can do whatever I wanted to do. There was no retention for my child. So I'm just at a loss here. This is my first time. This is her first time. Kindergarten is supposed to be great. So the fact that she's going through this at kindergarten, I'm not getting any help, I'm not receiving any support, and that it even has to come to this is mind-boggling to me, because I did not think that I would ever be here in a board meeting on the verge of tears behind my child. So I just hope that maybe we can find a resolution, because it's come to a point to where it seems like instead of finding a resolution, they do not want to have my child back at the school next year. They do not want me to come to the school anymore to advocate for my child. I have not came to the school in any disrespectful
Thank you so
manner.
much, ma'am. I'll have to shut you out now.
Nope, you're fine.
Dr. Carter will follow up with you.
Thank you.
Mr. Fish, can you get information for me? Thank you.
Okay, moving on to new business. Okay, the chair will now entertain a motion to approve the Outdoor Education Center camp.
President Poole-Gray,
Yes, Trustee LaValle?
leaning into my microphone here.
I know.
It's so nice to have my head held up high. I'd like to make a motion to approve the Outdoor Education Center camp for ELL students in the amount of $16,800 with a funding source of Section 41 funds.
Support.
It's been moved by Trustee LaValle, supported by Trustee Fulbright, that we approve the Outdoor Education Center camp. Any discussion?
I would just say what a neat opportunity to partner with our outdoor education camp, and I think the kids, and I really like the idea that it's going to be held after our Bear Scout Blast, because that's an exciting opportunity, but it seems like this would just be an awesome experience.
So I was just clearing my throat.
All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Motion carried. The chair will now entertain a motion regarding the International Alliance Group, International Teacher Partnership.
Madam President,
Yes, Trustee Fulbright.
I move that we approve the International Alliance Group International Teacher Partnership in the amount of up to $150,000 from the funding source general funds.
Second.
It's been moved by Trustee Fulbright, second by Trustee McClenny, that we approve the International Alliance Group International Teacher Partnership. Any discussion?
President Poole-Gray,
Yes, Trustee.
I feel better about what I heard this evening. I think our presenters from the state of Arizona did a wonderful job for us this evening. And I just have some thoughts about where will our teachers, depending if we get 2 or 4, be living. I would hope that they would be able to find housing in Battle Creek. I just think that would be a beneficial part of it, but I'm just really concerned, will our housing shortage that we have, and it's not the school district's job to build houses or whatever, but I just really am concerned that we don't have a lot to offer in housing for any staff person coming in. And it would be different if they were in-state, or actually United States citizens, because they would kind of know the area. But with foreign teachers coming in, Will they find adequate housing for the time that they would be spending working for us?
That was one of my concerns also.
And in talking to Dr. Henry earlier last week, as I just had some questions, and he did a beautiful job of answering my thoughts, I just really he made the comment to me that it's IAG's responsibility to find the housing for them. And it's good that Mr. Hammond actually knows Calhoun County. That's a plus. But it's just where will we have these new teachers be comfortable in housing? Because they have to go home and rest at night too.
I was going to ask that question, but I assumed with the plans and the preparation that was included. I was actually going to ask that question. So I hope they are in the district, that they are actually living
In the district.
Yes, and not somewhere else. But yeah, I should have asked that question, but I assumed it was in the plan.
And I guess I would just say what Dr. Johnson was saying, are there any catches or glitches along the way that we could be expecting? I think that was a fair question, because we want to know as much as possible. We don't ask for perfection, but can we adequately support the teachers' living conditions?
I hope, depending on where they're from, because we have different, resources that we can use. So I hope that's incorporated to make them feel part of this community, because I don't want you driving from wherever. And I'm not going to say anything prolonging anything else.
I've also thought or asked about, I did go to the company's website. They have an Appendix A and Appendix B that lists the requirements that the teaching staff is responsible for. And one of those was to acquiring a state driver's license. And it's just where I just wanted to, and yes, it's a big change. It's great that we learned about more school districts in Michigan using this opportunity. And I think that's a better fit for us as well. But it's just where I know we're in need of specialized teachers. I don't have any problem with them coming from a foreign country. I like the fact that they're going to be vetted in such a way that it's good for them as well as good for our students. It's just where these are critical features that can we help them in getting adequate resources or and then another thing about the Michigan retirement system. As Dr. Henry explained to me, there's a bucket for people that don't have 10 years into the retirement system in Michigan. Then there's another bucket of people that would have 10 plus years or more for the retirement system. And I would just hope that they wouldn't have to pay into the retirement system, but that might go against law. One thing that Dr. Henry did say to me, our lawyers really, really like this company.
There's only 3, right? We're only starting out with 3 teachers. Did I hear that right?
That's a
3
possibility.
buildings.
3 schools. Okay.
3 schools.
I'm sure as we go, things are gonna come up.
And we will report regularly
Yeah.
as we learn from this process.
Starting out small is good.
Yeah,
and we
yeah,
can
it is, it is. Okay,
assess.
we have a motion on the floor by trustee Fulbright.
And supported by
And supported by trustee McClenny. We already did a discussion. All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Perfect, motion carried. You can get busy now.
Duty bound.
Superintendent comments.
First, I just want to thank the board for all of their great questions during both the IAG presentation as well as questions to create clarity around the middle school transition plan. I'd also like to publicly let everybody know that FAQs and information for our families that are watching will be posted later this evening. So all of our families who are seeking additional information around the temporary changes for next year, including information about school assignments and the new 6th grade academy, as well as answers to frequently asked questions. The ones that we could anticipate, we've created some answers, and that will be posted to the website today. Graduation season is nearly upon us. Can you believe that the last day of school in Battle Creek is May 31st? A lot of people are really surprised by that when I say. We have some upcoming events like the Top 10 breakfast with the superintendent, but also most importantly our graduation ceremonies for Battle Creek Central, WK Prep, and adult education. So I'd like to invite our staff, families, and community supporters to join us for those. The adult education spring graduation is May 10th at 6 p.m. at WK Auditorium. Our Battle Creek Central graduation is May 23rd at 7 p.m. at CW Post Stadium. And we have a very special gift coming that Trustee Fulbright had us order, so we're going to keep it secret for those who attend the graduation. And the following evening, on May 24th, WK Prep Spring Graduation will occur at 6 p.m. in WK Auditorium. Each year, my final update is that each year, Calhoun Association of School Boards honors those Board of Education members who have served on local boards of education for at least 10 years. Service awards are presented for each additional 5 years of service. I'm proud to announce that our own trustee, Ms. Catherine LaValle, was recently selected as an honoree for the Calhoun Intermediate School District for her 10 years of service and leadership as a member of our Board of Education. Thank you for your service. She will be honored during a banquet this Wednesday at Homer Community Schools, among other area honorees. And she has served this community well. We are so proud of everything that she continues to do. She is definitely a champion for children. Congratulations, Ms. LaValle, and thank you for your continued commitment to Battle Creek Public Schools.
That means a lot. Thank you.
Board member comments. Trustee McClendon.
I just wanted to make quick and say it was lovely. It has been lovely to see our track being used with the students. It's been full. I've been to several of the track meets. Didn't have any choice. Got a granddaughter insisting, but was there tonight and she's waiting. But it was full, and I was trying to figure out why there were so many students out there. I didn't understand that it was all city and it was citywide. But so, and congratulations to those students that made. I don't want to get it wrong. They're in the paper. Let's put it that way. They made the top of the top. So, and congratulations to my granddaughter too. She made it too.
Any other board member comments? Trustee LaValle.
Thank you, President Poole-Gray. Today, the April Student of the Month from the Rotary Club of Battle Creek, 2 students were honored. Imani, I hope I'm saying her name right, Timmons from Battle Creek Central, and Tanaya Miller from WK Kellogg Prep were our representatives for Student of the Month. This is the last celebration for Student of the Month for this school year. I've also attended the Community Advisory Committee for Springfield Middle School Health Center on April 3rd. The state site review report earned an A, and that was shared with the committee members. Many strengths included trusted relationships with students, warm, welcoming staff with high productivity rates, assessment of focus areas on need, which was maybe nutrition and physical activity, where our practitioner goes into classrooms and does lessons on nutrition and physical activity. They had a complete organized lab manual, an excellent continuity of care between Springfield Middle School and when they go to Battle Creek Central Health Centers, and an adequate use of technology. Opportunity areas would be the local community advisory council should include a broad range of stakeholders such as parents, youth representatives, also a formal approval evidence for the four required policies and procedures. That was in front of us about a month ago. That has been approved, but they need to have a localized meeting to say that they have been approved and voted on. Those policies require parent consent, requests for medical records release, release of information that include the role of non-custodial parents or parents with joint custody, and then confidential services as allowed by the state of Michigan. This evidence will be submitted to the state, so these improvements have taken place. On May 30th, Springfield Middle School students will be honored at an honors event at W.K. Kellogg Auditorium from 5 to 8 o'clock p.m. The Health Center will be decorating the foyer as students receive end-of-the-year awards, such as a red carpet event, to be as encouraging as well as a feel-good moment for Springfield Middle School students. I attended this past week a School Board Association webinar focused on members' questions. Cybersecurity help can come from, I'll spell this out loud for Kowita, KNOWBE, the number 4. It's just called KnowB4, and then a lot of districts use what is known as Arctic Wolf. This April 16th session also spoke on the upcoming November election for electing school board members. I will be not choosing to run again for the Battle Creek Public Schools Board of Education. The Michigan Association of School Boards has a helpful toolbox for prospective candidates. The website is big letters masb.org/get-on-board. Just spelled out in little letters. It will list upcoming virtual town hall events, 1 hour in length, that summarizes important facts on becoming an elected school board member. The deadline to file with Calhoun County Clerk's Office in Marshall is at 4 p.m. on July 23rd, 2024. Our school district needs student-focused, community-oriented Board of Education members. It's important to provide choices for the voting public. Number 4, I attended Lamora Park's Family Literacy Night on March 20th. It was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed seeing all the families interacting with their Lamora Park students. The Valley View Parent-Teacher Council continues to promote popcorn sales. The Valley View Parent-Teacher Council meeting will be held tomorrow, April 23rd at 4:15 p.m. On April 4th, I attended the Battle Creek Central High School Career Academies Council meeting in the Grand Valley State University room at Battle Creek Central. That was new to me. I was impressed with the room. A successful Battle Creek Central senior job fair was held for the first time. Lots of employers interviewing our seniors who worked hard to be prepared, and a variety of employers were present in the Battle Creek Central gym. The Battle Creek Central Health and Human Services Academy has been awarded certification, which means dollars to help with work-based learning, health science initiatives, student leadership skills, and gives more flexibility with the Michigan Merit curriculum requirements. Battle Creek Central High School Teacher Externship Framework for 2024-2025 is ready to go. A pilot group of high school teachers have begun this spring with an employer, along with an interdisciplinary group, which means ELA, math, science, and history teachers. 15 hours will be devoted to identifying an authentic problem that teachers can return to their classrooms for problem-based learning tasks for this fall, 2024. Then the process begins again with another group of teachers after the first group's work has given feedback and reflection. The business certification through Kellogg Community College, Battle Creek Central students in the Business Academy can earn 23 Kellogg Community College credits on also a business certification. KCC will teach 2 classes, that's 6 hours, at Battle Creek Central when the student's in 10th grade. In the 11th grade, general accounting and economics would be earning 9 credits. And in the 12th grade, 8 credits would be intro to business with classes on organizational behavior and business law to take place on KCC campus. The skilled trades have ramped up program experiences for this summer 2024. This is an active partnership with Goodwill Industries, General Motors, KCC, and Regional Manufacturing Technology Center, as well as other skilled trade partners for Battle Creek students. A proposed credit union to provide hands-on experiences is planned for Battle Creek Central to open in the fall of 2025. A ribbon cutting sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce opened up the Business Academy's Battle Creek Central School store named Roar. On April 5th, a virtual climate change symposium took place. Speakers were contacted by the Battle Creek Area Mass Science Center students. I listened to a lady by the name of Robin Wall Kamirer, a botanist, and learning from nature. I also heard Dr. Lily Adarno, a perspective on Africa's energy transition. And finally, as Mr. McClenny has said, the spring sports are keeping our Battle Creek Central and middle school students active and competitive. I have enjoyed baseball, lots of tennis, the all-city track meet. We didn't blow away that night last Friday. At our new track, softball and women's soccer events are happening. Come out to cheer on our hardworking athletes.
Any other board member comments? Trustee Fulbright.
So just a quick update. I did meet with the presidents from Lakeview, Harper, and Penfield last week, and we have decided to reach out to MASB for a joint, not really a CBA class, but a joint training or collaboration on the topic of mental health and emotional health within all 4 districts. So more to come once we hear back from them. That's all I got. And great things are happening in Battle Creek Public Schools.
Any other board member comments? If not, this meeting's adjourned.